Hello. How are you?
It's always something.
Yes, you've noticed that too. It is. It is always something. That's for sure.
I didn't tell you yesterday that I was going crazy during the Tai Chi class because you know what a murmuration of birds is?
Yes.
It was going on right outside my window. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Thousands of birds just swirling around.
Were they starlings or blackbirds?
I thought it would be even more rude to get my binoculars out and check, so I don't know. But I would suggest starlings.
Yeah.
Kevin, have you thought about laying off the psychedelics?
Well, you're the one that wears the Owsley T-shirt.
I'm not seeing any murmurations.
Up the dose.
By the way, Bob Weir, RIP,
Yeah, I know that was terrible. 78.
a youth.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bob Weir is one of the founders of Grateful Dead.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. Yeah, that made me feel old, guys.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
I know. I felt that way anyway. So, Catherine, we're talking about a gentleman named Bob Weir who was a musician in the Grateful Dead. I don't know, from San Francisco. I don't know if you
Of
know
course.
about. He passed away. So, okay, but we are going to be learning a little Tai Chi. So, yesterday we started on move number one, Kai Shi, and I said this morning I would do it a couple of times, and then I would ask each of you to do it. I wish Jill was here, but I guess she couldn't be here today. But we'll put her on the griddle next time she's in the class, right? So let me do the first move a couple of times, and I'll do them from different positions. Let me fix the camera here a little. All right. I think I fixed the camera too much. One more time. Small circle, press down. Big circle, push out. Forward circle, pull down. Reverse circle, press down. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. One, 2, 3, 4. All right, Catherine, let me see you do it a couple of times. Good. Catherine, could you adjust your camera just a little bit so I can see your feet? Yeah, that's good. Excellent. One more time, you guys may remember I suggested learning the script for each of these moves, and you sort of use that script for a year or two while you're in the beginning learning phase, and then you can just forget about it. But all right. So the script for this is small reverse circle, press down. Big reverse circle, push out. Huge forward circle, pull down. Big reverse circle, press down. All right? When I say press down, I'm going to give you a little more advanced information. When I say press down, it's easy to misinterpret that as using your shoulders to press down. I'm going to press down, but that's not what it is. What it is it's more like placing your hand on something like this, and then you just lower your body. So the pressing down happens because your whole body is sinking toward the ground. It's not pressing like this. It's pressing like this. Okay, Catherine, would you do it one more time and do the script at the same time?
Okay, I'll try. Okay. Small reverse circle, press down. Big reverse circle, push out. Very big circle, pull down. Reverse circle, press down.
Good. That's absolutely perfect. The first time you go through the form, this is what you want to learn. Is just the basic geometry of the choreography. I think I demonstrated the first 5 moves yesterday. This is the simple form, the short, simple form. The choreography is quite difficult. And the only way you can learn it is in little bite-sized chunks. And the way I'm teaching you right now is what I worked out for myself that gradually allowed me to learn the Tai Chi. It probably was 5 years of work for me to really get this form. In fact, it was more like 8 or 10 years actually. Within 5 years, I had the basic idea, but it took another 5 years to really digest all this and make it my own. You're going to have to do the same thing. Learning this form is very much like learning the piano or the guitar. at first, you just have to do it one little thing at a time. And then gradually you bring it inside the body, so to speak, until you turn into somebody like Stevie Ray Vaughan, who everybody says the same thing when they watch him. He and the guitar are one thing. That guitar is part of his body, and that's really what you want your Tai Chi to be, but it takes many years to get there. All right? Oh. Okay, Jim, let me see you do it.
Small reverse lead. Large reverse lead. Push out. Large forward lead. Pull down. Large reverse lead. Press down.
Excellent. Okay. You've both got the first move. Master Zhang used to say, if you can truly get this move, and by that he didn't just mean the choreography, he meant the deeper levels of this, you'll have all of Tai Chi. Because it's all in every move. But if you get it in the first move, you'll get it everywhere else. That sounds so simple, but in fact it takes a lot of years. So what we have learned right now is just the basic mechanical choreography. From there, in the more advanced classes, you'll learn the 13 energies, right? Peng, Lu, An, Qi. What do those mean? Those are 4 of the 13 energies, and you have to be able to create them in your body. And it's not that it's that hard, it's just that it ends up being an awful lot of details by the time you get done. It's like learning the piano. It's easy to pick out Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but to do Beethoven takes a little more pizzazz, and it's kind of like that. You start very, very simply, and then you gradually get deeper and deeper into the instrument being your body. All right, let's go on to the second move. The second move is Jing Dang Dao Dui, which means Buddha's warrior pounds the mortar. Buddha's warrior pounds the mortar. That's actually the last motion in a much larger movement. Very often, Tai Chi moves are named after the last motion in the movement. But we're not going to do the whole thing because it's just too much to try and get in one shot. We're going to start the form very slowly and just spend plenty of time on these first couple of moves. And then as you begin to understand some of the vocabulary and the ideas here, then gradually we can speed up. But we're going to start really slow. So let me demonstrate the move again. Just watch. I'll do the whole move. And then we're just going to take the first 1/3 of it or so to do. All right. Here's the whole move. Here's the whole move. We're just going to do the first part of it. The first move is 4 Li circles, 4 front to back circles. Now, doing the first part of move number 2, we're going to add in 2 more kinds of circles. We're going to add in 2 shu circles and 1 ping circle. If you remember, shu circles are side-to-side circles, either direction. All right? And they can be really big, or they can be really small, but they're using the side-to-side dimension. And then shu circle. All right? And then ping circles are level circles. So what that looks like at the beginning of move number 2 is this. Shu circle. Shu circle. Ping circle. All right? Ping. It's a level circle. Now there's some footwork involved there too, but it's a level circle. So just to reduce it to its simplest geometric form, it is a shu circle, followed by another shu circle, and then a ping circle. Boom. But you have to get you've got to get the rhythm, and you got to get the footwork in there too. So let's work on the beginning of this. If I want to make a circle from my left to my right, I'm going from my left to my right. How do I start it? How do you start that circle? I'm going from my left to my right. What's the first thing you do? Now, I'm asking you this question because it's going to apply to every single movement in Tai Chi. It is a basic principle. What's that, Jim?
Shift your weight.
You shift your weight. In which direction?
The opposite from where you're going to swing to.
That's exactly right. You always start on the opposite side. So if I want to do this is a clockwise circle. I'm going from left to right, so my hands are going like the hands of a clock, right? If I'm going to start and go from left to right, you got to start by going from right so you can go left. So you start to the right. And you work up a little momentum. And now you go clockwise. And you flow through. And now I'm going to go counterclockwise. And you flow through. Boom. End of the first move. Just relax. Bring your weight to the left and then the right. And now you do your clockwise circle. And then you push through. Let's just do one circle at a time. Okay, so it's a simple circle. It's a simple clockwise circle, but there's actually a lot going on to create that circle. Again, end of the first move. When you come up, your weight should be on your right leg. When you go down, the weight should be on the left. Now that's not something that happens all the time, but kind of a general principle, right? So your weight should be on the left. Now you bring it even more to the left so that you can go to the right. Why do you go to the right? So you can go to the left. The principle that I'm talking about is the baseball principle. All right. If you're up at bat and somebody pitches you the ball, so here comes the ball in like this. What do? Do you hit it like this? That's the way a little 5-year-old kid does it, right? They just sort of stand there and hit. They never wind up because they don't know the principle. Instead, when the pitcher pitches the ball, I go the opposite direction. And then I come out and hit the ball. It's exactly the same thing. All right? So, all right, pay attention to your weight shift. That's where the actual action is. Let your arms just sort of relax. Wind up, and circle, and push. You notice how my hands are at the end. There's a reason for that. All right? Remember, this is a martial art. Generally, almost always, the hands are about 16 inches apart from each other, 16, 18 inches. Why? Because that's the length of a forearm. So if you've got hold of somebody's forearm, let's say somebody comes in here and they're going to hit you. All right? You block. Now I've got their wrist or their hand. You come behind at their elbow and you move them. You don't resist them, you move them. Boom. It's not this. It's this. It's you're shifting your weight. In this particular move, in a lot of ways, it makes very little sense to go up like this. If you think of this as a martial art, if you're fighting a guy who's that tall, I suggest what you do is turn around and run as fast as you can. But Tai Chi, particularly our kind of Tai Chi, is also a form of Qigong. And Qigong is very often opening the body to the energies of nature. So to trees and other life forms, as well as to the cosmos, as well as to the sun. So you can think of this as a kind of sun salutation. Open the body. All right? You're opening up to the sky. All right? And then you close again, and now you grab the guy's arm and you push it through. Now, it's good to know you grab the guy's arm and you push it through, but don't think about that. Once you get the idea, then just let it go. Now the question that comes in, how do you actually do this? Well, once you get the basic idea, then relax, literally, shake it out. When you're learning this, it's very easy to get tensed up. Shake it out a little bit, right? Sink into the left foot, relax. Go to the right, relax, circle, and push. Modern people, including us, are so well trained in hand-eye coordination that we forget about the core body. This is a perfect move to understand it's not about hand-eye coordination. Yeah, that's in there. It's really about the core body. I'm going to put my Dan Chen signal on here again. All right. You can do this move without using your hands at all. It's the core body that does it. It sinks into the left foot, and I mean all the way down into the left foot. And then it rocks over to the right foot. Now, you're coming up when you do that, but you should still be in that foot. Then you sink in the right foot again, and now over to the left foot, and then you bridge up, and you sink under, and you go through. If you think of the Dan Chen as a ball, it's a little easier to understand that. All right? You turn the ball down and in. Now you rock it to the other foot and up, and now down again, and now you spin the ball. All right? I can't do this without dropping it, right? You spin the ball and push it through. If you can kind of keep that in your head, and the rest of the body, relatively speaking, relaxes. So you don't want to stiffen up your arms or any of your joints, but just relax. Right? Relax in the way a cat relaxes. Again, sink. Sink. Circle and push. Another way to think about this that might help a little bit, if you've ever done any athletics at all, football, wrestling, any stuff like that, you should know that your hips and your shoulders are part of the part of the equation. The hip moves. The hip moves. The shoulders move. The hip. Whew, the hip. The hip. Meaning the core. A way to get into your hips and your shoulders is to soften your hands and arms and soften your feet a little bit. So you're not all out here, right? You don't want to be out on the periphery of your body. You want to fall into the center of your body. One more. End of the first move. Weight to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. And look at the timing between my Dan Chen and my hands. Watch the relationship between them. Oh, the Dan Chen is leading the movement. It's not this. They're not synchronized. The core of the body moves first. The core of the body moves first. It's already going left and my hands are still up here. All right, that's the first circle. We're just going to get the basic geometry of this time through. The second circle is very similar, but it ends in a slightly different way. The first circle pushes through. The second circle presses down. First circle pushes through, second circle presses down. Now, again, like I said earlier, when you press down, it's not from the shoulders. The body is pressing down. See, my shoulders are not even really moving. What's pressing down is this. When I say this is pressing down, what I mean is your weight is pressing down. You're using the weight of the body. End of the first move. First big circle. And push through. Second big circle. Press down. 1, 2. Very simple. And there's your script for this too. All right, first circle's clockwise circle, shoe circle, and push out. Counterclockwise shoe circle and press down. Very simple. There's a lot of little details in there that are not in the script, so you still have to keep working on it. But the basic script starts with a clockwise shoe circle and pushes out to the left. Counterclockwise shoe circle and presses down. Okay, now comes the hard part. So far, our footwork has been very simple. We haven't moved the feet. We've just shifted the weight from side to side. Use your weight. All right. Now you're going to have to do some footwork and coordinate the lower body with the upper body. And this will take, it's going to seem very simple, and it is, but it takes a little while to get this. All right. Watch. Press down. Bounce up. 1, 2. All right. I'm counting it as 1, 2 because there are 2 functions there. We're not going to talk about the functions today, but they're there. Here's one function. Turn the left toes in. All right, if I was really doing this function in real life, it would look like this. It's very fast. There's a difference between the martial application, the function, and the form. Yes, they overlap, and it's good to know what the applications are. And in the next class, the intermediate class, you'll learn all those functions. But it's too much to try and get them the first time through. So you just get the basic geometry of the choreography. Let's look at the upper body. It's like this. One hand is going from shoulder to hip. You're shifting your weight, left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right. The other hand is coming up from the hip to the right shoulder while you're shifting your weight. And then, to make that second part right here, to make it more effective, you turn your left toes in so you get a little better leverage. That also begins to turn the body so you can move into the next dimension. So you're going to be turning 90 degrees. And Tai Chi works on an 8-pointed compass, which I sort of have on the ground here. Right? If you count the crack in the floor as part of this too. So, so north is behind me, south is in front of me, all right? East and west, and then so the cardinal points, and then the ordinal points. So southeast, northeast, blah 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 blah, etc. Right? So that's always under your feet. Even if you turn, it's still under your feet, and when you move, it comes with you. So why do they do that? Well, it kind of comports to the body's functions. If I want to turn 90 degrees and go in this direction, it's a big turn to come like this. So what you do is you do it in bits and pieces. You do it in 2 pieces. You turn 45 degrees, and then you turn 45 degrees, and then you walk through. Now, there are a few places where you go all 90 degrees, right? But in this case, it's very gentle. All right? Turn, 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 turn. Now, 2 things about the turn. One is it's done on your heel. So you just lift your toes and then you shift your weight from left to right and just let your toes come with you. Very simple. Now I'm going to lift my right toes. All right? And I can't do that without shifting my weight back to the left foot. And now I turn that foot and I walk through. All right? So again, just as with everything else, it works on your weight shift. All right? Bring your weight to the right as you lift your toes. Bring your weight right as you lift your left toes. Let your left toes come with you. Now shift your weight back as you lift your right toes. And boom, through. All right, that's the footwork. It sounds very simple, but when you combine it with the upper body work, you've got to get it perfectly coordinated, and it may be a little bit like rubbing your belly and tapping the top of your head, right? Shift your weight left, right. The end of the move looks, I'm going to do it sideways here. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. This is a joint lock. Somebody's forearm. It's not done with your shoulders. It's not done like this. It's done from here. Watch this. Turns. This is your engine. The body doesn't move unless the engine moves. One, 2, 3. Or if you just put them all together. All your weight here on the right. Okay, let's stitch these all together. We actually need a little more time with this part of the form, but we'll just polish this a couple of times. And between now and next class, next Saturday, practice this. Look at the recordings and practice this. And then we'll refine it a little bit next week. End of the first move. Shift your weight left. Shift your weight right. And clockwise circle and push out to the left. Counterclockwise circle and press down. And ping circle. 1, 2, 3. And I hope you can see on that 3, right? 2, watch my whole body. 3. The whole body just sinks and relaxes. Sinks down to the dantian and then all the way into the ground. Very relaxed. One more. End of the first move. Clockwise shoe circle and press out. Counterclockwise shoe circle and press down. And first half of the ping circle, second half of the ping circle, and sink. All my weight on the right. Sink. I'm very relaxed. Somebody comes in and does something, I'm relaxed. I can respond to it. One more. End of the first move. Clockwise shoe circle and press out. Counterclockwise shoe circle and press down. And now the ping circle. 1, 2, 3. Boom. So by ping circle, you could be going all the way around. We do that when we do our silk reeling exercises. This is just half a circle, right? It's from here to here. So this orientation. In fact, in old Chen style, Chen village Chen style, they just do this. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just in our style, in Hunyan Chen style. They've added a little tweak in there. They've added this in here. Okay, guys, any questions?
So, Malcolm,
Yeah.
on the move where you bring your right hand down your left one, you broke the guy's arm there,
Here?
but you're still not through with him. When you turn, you're going to twist some more, right?
That's right. You break his arm, pull it up, twist it under him, right? Kick him and throw him away.
See, I need to understand the martial part, and then I can work backwards from the snapping bones.
The Master Feng and Master Zhang used to say the same thing. It's very important to understand the martial applications because the real body mechanics and especially the energy dynamics depend on your mind. And if your mind doesn't really understand what you're doing, you will never get the finer points of this. However, When you practice the form, even though you've become an expert in all these martial applications, don't think about the martial applications. Because the real point of the form is to learn to relax in motion, to keep a clear mind, although you are moving all the time. Right? But Jim, I know exactly what you mean. I love them too. I'm hoping to try and soft pedal them this first time through the form. But next time we go through, we'll really start to focus on them a little bit. And the reason I want to do that is folks that come, I'm trying to develop a way of teaching that works for a general population, not just people that are martial artists or want to be martial artists. The truth is 90% of the people who come into Tai Chi have no interest in the martial arts, not really. And I want them to get this, not because I want them to get martial arts, I want them to get their energy bodies and go through the discipline of connecting the mind to the energy body. So yes, it's important to do that, but they need some time to break in. They need a time through the form where you're just focusing on choreography a little bit like it was dance. Don't let Master Zhang hear that, but it's a little bit like it's just dance. After you get that first basic time through, then you've got something to work with. Then, right, if you want, right, then you can start working with the martial applications. Boom. Catherine, did you have a question?
No, I'm just starving. It's 8 p.m. here. I'm going to eat.
Well, we're just going to go for another hour or so. Is that okay? No? Okay. So Catherine needs to go eat, so we're going to have to quit and pick it up next Saturday. Guys, we'll see you next Saturday.
Thank you.
Ciao.